Hello, my name is Grace Mbote, and in this lecture we are going to learn how to develop an entity relationship diagram. We have to remember that in the previous lecture we learned about the basic concepts of entity relationship diagram. So in this lecture we are going to see different activities which are aimed at developing an ER diagram. We've got 3 activities, and at the end of each activity we are going to get an ER diagram. When I say activity, it means a case study. You're given a user requirements and then you go through different steps in order to get an ER diagram. Now let's start with the activities.
Let's look at case study 1 or activity 1. This is a case study for a certain company which has a database containing the information about employees, departments, and projects. There are several departments in the company. Each department has a unique identification, a name, location of the office, and a particular employee who manages the department. Also, within that department, there is a control of number of projects, each of which has a unique name, a unique number, and a budget. Each employee has a name, an identification number, address, salary, and a birth date. Just remember, these are attributes or characteristics of an employee. Also, an employee is assigned to one department but can join in several projects. The company needs to record the start date of the employee for each project. It also needs to know the direct supervisor of each employee. Also, the company wants to keep track of the dependents of the employees. Each dependent must have a name, birth date, and a relationship with the employee. So let us see how we are going to develop an entity relationship diagram for this case. Step 1. You need to identify the entities. Not only the entities, you need to identify the entities with its attributes. For the case that we've been given, there is entity 1 and 2, which is employee and department. As you can see, an employee has the following attributes. An employee must have a name, must have an address, a salary, birth date, and employee ID, which is the primary key for that particular entity or table. Entity 2, department. Department must have a name. It must also have a department ID, which is a primary key, and an office for that particular department. We are still identifying entities for that particular activity. Entity 2 is a project, and for every project there must be a project code which identifies that project. There is also a budget for that particular project, and each project must have a name. There's also an entity for a dependent, whereby the dependent must have a name, a birth date, and a relationship. As we can see, a dependent rectangle, it's a double one. This is because this is a weak entity. It's because it depends on the employee entity. Now, step 3. This is a complete ER diagram. As we can see, one department controls one or more projects. The relationships are in a diamond, and every relationship uses a verb, an action verb. As we can see, there is a relationship between employee and project, where many projects can have many employees, and there's a relationship between department and employee, where one department has many employees, and there's also a relationship between employee and dependent, whereby one employee can have one or more dependents. Now let us look at activity 2. This is a company as well which wants to build a database of their supplies and parts, and the following is the sample of records that they currently store. We have supplier name, we have a sales rep, from that particular supplier. We also have parts, information about these must be computer parts, where you have part number and description. There's motherboard, there's RAM and hard drive, and prices for each particular part. Now let's develop an entity relationship diagram. The first step, you need to identify the entities from the given information. There's a total of 3 entities. There's supplier, there's the sales rep, and parts. Step 2, remember to link the entities as shown below. There's sales rep who is employed by a supplier, and this particular supplier supplies parts to different customers. Step 3, you need to complete the relationship to show the relationship, either they are one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-one. As we can see, a sales rep is employed by a supplier, and one supplier supplies one or many parts to a particular customer. And step 4, you need to state any assumptions. And our assumption here is one supplier can employ one or more sales representatives. And assumption 2 is one supplier can supply one or more parts. Let's look at activity 3. Muhimbili Healthcare Services Limited is a collective of health centers around Tanzania. They want to design and build a database to help manage their business. Below are the details of the organization. Muhimbili Healthcare Services Limited has 7 branches in total, and each branch employs between 3 and 14 specialist doctors. Specialist doctors can only work at one health center. Patients can only be registered at one health center. Also, patients can have multiple appointments. For each appointment, the health center stores the date, time, duration, and any other relevant information. Now, how are we going to develop an entity relationship diagram for this case? Step 1, identify the entities. There are a total of 4 entities. There's health center, there's specialist doctor, patient, and appointment. Step 2, you need to link the entities. A health center employs specialist doctors, and a specialist doctor attends appointment, and also a patient attends appointment. Step 3, you need to complete the relationships. Health center employs one or more specialist doctors, and the specialist doctor attends one or more appointment with the patient. Same applies to the patient. A patient can attend one or more appointments with the specialist doctor. Step 4, you need to state any assumptions for your entity relationship diagram. Our assumptions here is there will be only one specialist doctor at an appointment, and only one patient can attend one appointment at a time.
This is the end of our lecture on ERR diagram, where we learned on how to develop ERR diagram given user requirements. We had 3 activities which has gone through different steps in order to get the ERR diagram. Thank you for watching.